In this video, we discuss topics such as body image issues and eating disorders. These subjects may be distressing or triggering to some viewers. If you or someone you know is struggling, we encourage you to seek support. Resources and services are listed in the description below.
Thanks. Lights, check. Cameras. We're in focus. Alright, everything looks good. Kennedy! We're ready for the next episode! Kennedy? Alright, Kennedy. It's time for us to record. Are you ready? Oh. Shoot. Guys, it's time for the next episode!
Oh, okay, we're coming. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, we got here. We made it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kennedy Hibbert. I'm a voice actor. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a human being. Thanks for... Oh, sorry, you got me going. It's contagious. Thanks for being here. I'm here with the fabulous Kate Clarke, and we are a little tired, because yesterday we were at the beach for 13 hours. We got in pretty late, and we're here pretty early in the morning, so please excuse us.
Worth
but
it.
It ties into what we're going to be talking about today. As I mentioned, my name is Kennedy. You are watching The Vulnerable Podcast, a mental health podcast run by voice actors where we prove that vulnerability is something to be proud of. If you're new to the podcast, we start every single episode with the vulnerability of the week, which is where I go first, and I share something vulnerable that happened to me recently. So my vulnerability of the week actually goes back to a trip I recently went on to Vancouver, Canada. I love Vancouver, Canada. It is so fun. I went to do a little bit of whale watching. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And there was a movie that I watched during my time. The movie is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. It's directed by and it stars Ben Stiller. It's so good. I've seen it before, but I knew I wanted to watch it again because it leaves me with a sense of inspiration every time I watch it. When I watched it on this trip, I was expecting to be left with the feeling of maybe it'll inspire me to travel more. But I had a realization when I watched the movie. Just a little bit of insight. The movie is about an everyday man who daydreams all the things he wishes he could do in his life, the person he wishes he could be, the grand adventures he wishes he could go on. And throughout the course of the movie, he starts to daydream less and less as he creates this life unintentionally that he wanted all along. After I watched that movie, I realized I am the same way. I am such a daydreamer. I still imagine myself being far greater than the person that I am, and I have these daydreams of the brave things I wish I could do, the people I wish I could talk to, the things I wish I could say, and the places I wish I could go. So coming back from that trip after watching that movie, I have made an effort to really live in the moment, to be present, to notice when I'm daydreaming, and to come back down to earth, because we can live the lives that we want for ourselves, not in our heads, but in reality. That has inspired me to take some really, really big leaps this week that are so emotionally challenging, but it also has led me to go to very, very beautiful places, including yesterday, me and Kate went to Carpinteria. That's what it was called, right?
Carpinteria, California.
And it was so beautiful, and I think that you and me, Kate, you can jump into this vulnerability because we both really realized what it means to be present in the moment.
Yeah. Screaming in the ocean.
Screaming in the ocean, how good it feels to be alive, touching the salt water, the sand under our feet, seeing the wildlife.
Just appreciating everything around us in that moment. Like looking out and just, I don't know, realizing I'm sharing this special day with this person who I'm getting to know better and better, and just how magical that is to just sit and be with somebody
in the real world, right?
Exactly. And you're building all these core memories, and these are like anchor points in my life that I'll look back on and think, gosh, I felt so much joy in this moment and in this day. And why did I feel that way? And I can point to so many things of I was out in the sunshine. I was feeling the earth beneath me. I was having deep conversations.
Yeah, we talked for like 3 hours at one point.
But it's the best. It's the best. And that's the kind of thing that I'll look to when I feel down in future days. Because, we always have those ups and downs.
Always.
Where I can say, what do I need to do to move past this slump? And sometimes it's as simple as going outside and just appreciating the fact that you are alive and in this world. And there are, in my yard, I've got a bunch of crickets chirping and I have wind chimes out front that I love to listen to. And just being here and proud of the fact that I am here, I guess.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. And I'm so glad that I got to like go on that journey with you, not just like literally the journey, but we both had this like epiphany and it just felt so good.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me on that. And thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to dive into conversation with you. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So let's go ahead and introduce you properly, my dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we are with the fabulous Kate Clarke today. A fabulous voice actor, amazing friend, and just all around wonderful human being. Kate, what are some of the roles that people know you from?
So you might know me as Latla from Undead Unluck, or Isolde from Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Obviously, the infamous Lapine Pauline, the beggiest beggar in all of Begdom from Genshin Impact, or Ornyx from Honkai Star Rail.
I love that clip of the beggiest beggar, whatever you say. It's so good.
I'm begging you like the beggiest beggar in all of Begdom.
It's honestly, she's cringe, but she's free. And that's what I love about Lapine Pauline.
And we can take lessons so much from that.
Her.
Yeah, exactly. We are cringe, but we are free. I love it. I love it. We had so many conversations yesterday that were just full of wisdom. Driving back home, we were kind of picking like, okay, what should we talk about in the podcast tomorrow? And it was hard to narrow it down, but we had so many good conversations. But one thing that you are particularly knowledgeable about and something that I was very interested to learn more about was the mental health of physical health.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about like an introduction to that and what that means?
Sure. So I am currently on a health journey, mental health, physical health, but it really did start with the mental health that led into the physical health. I am currently down 70 pounds of weight loss, which is a big deal for me because this has been a lifelong struggle for me. And the way that I guess I kind of got there was finding a way to be right in here and to look at myself in the mirror and see myself and the beauty of the person that I am, beyond, what I was like picking at in the mirror. And I don't know if you want me to launch into the stories. I'm just like, okay, I'm a runaway train. Let's go.
No, I am so ready to just get into it. I'd love to hear your personal story with this.
Sure. So, all my life, from really the age I want to say the earliest I can remember actually it being a struggle, I was 10 years old. And it's, that was back when BMI was a big thing at the doctor. And so it's like you'd go in and they'd be like, well, you're over your BMI. Or We Fit came out. And I remember standing on the balance board and the little thing was like, that's obese. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like 10 years old. This is horrifying.
Looking back, what was that?
Honestly, it's funny because like the We Fit balance board back in college was a really good workout for me. Like it kind of got me like, okay, you know what, balance board? Like I'm going to show you what I can do. But like beyond all of that, it was just like I always had this struggle. But when I was younger, your body is springier and you don't kind of like notice it as much. But as I started to get older, and especially in the pandemic, and we're all inside and we're obviously consuming all of the bread and what was the Dalgona coffees we were making.
That's right.
I just noticed that my physical health was really starting to fail me. I would get up and my knees would crack and I would be walking down a hall and just like trying to like balance myself just with a hand out. And I think there was this light bulb epiphany moment of if I keep going down this path, I'm not going to be able to do any of the things that I want to do in life. I've got nephews I want to run around with. I love to dance. I love to swim. Like yesterday, swimming, I don't think I could have done that a couple of years ago and gotten out to that platform. And I'm so grateful that I've gone on this journey and built up this strength so that my body could do that thing so that we could get out there and see the dolphins.
See the dolphins that swam right by us, guys. It was the most magical thing.
It was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I like can't believe it. But I mean, and again, just in the specialness of yesterday, it's those moments that go to show you like I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing because here I am in this beautiful expanse of the ocean, and my body was powerful enough to bring me out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I, people always have these goals or whatever. And originally, I think when I was growing up, my goal was like, I'm hearing from the doctor, like, your health, your health, your health. But all I was internalizing was, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, which was a really, really tough thing as a kid to kind of combat because your self-image is so tied into everything you do. And especially in a show business career, like self-image is really important because if you don't have a good sense of that, then your confidence sinks and then your performances sink.
Yeah.
And so it's all connected.
Yeah. And hearing those things when you're so young, like those are the most transformative years of our life. Those things that you were hearing, I'm sure impacted the way that you felt for so long too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I was getting this feedback as a child, and not just from like the doctors, and I love my parents, but they were trying to help, and so it's a lot of pressure on that. I have an athletic older sister, so I'm seeing all of this, and as my confidence is sinking, it's also affecting my relationship with food, for example. A lot of people, when they hear this commentary from a doctor, it's very easy to slip and sink into disordered eating, which is something that I dealt with in the sense that I was a binge eater, because I felt like there was this scarcity of the stuff that I really wanted to eat and the things that I really wanted to try. I love to try everything. Like if I'm at a restaurant and it's new, I'm like, I want to try everything on the menu. Can't do that financially, but
That's true.
But it's that's something that brings me joy, and I love the social aspect of food, and I love the flavors, I love the art of it, because I mean it is, in my opinion, an art form if you're putting together a beautiful plate. And I watched Food Network a lot growing up with my dad.
Aww.
So like seeing the things that these, like a composer would build a symphony. Food is like this symphony of flavors. So when you get excited about something like that, you want to try it all. And then when you're told, no, you can't have that. You can't have that. It's not healthy. It's there's too many calories, or you're past your calorie limit for the day. It just, like, for me, it really did things to me where I felt like at any moment I was sneaking down to my pantry and grabbing all the chocolate and hiding it in my room and then eating it in a compulsive way, to the point where it's like, I didn't even want it.
That's right. And I think it's important that you said compulsive too. Can you tell us like why binge eating disorder is more than just a choice?
Yeah. So I think I kind of realized that I had this issue when I did a one-act play, actually, where I played a character who had a binge eating disorder. And she has this monologue about basically what I was doing, which was going down to the pantry and you just start eating and eating and eating. And it might be for comfort. It might be because you're bored. But there comes a certain point in which you're eating and, you feel that fullness. You feel like I should stop, but you don't. And
you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would get to the point where I would eat to the point I was sick. And that's still, a struggle that I have to manage and understand. And as I've been going through this health journey and mending my relationship with food, I do think that has helped me curb a lot of this stuff, because I never deprive myself of anything anymore. But yeah, when I was sitting there and thinking like, this will be the only chance I have to eat this, it's like my cat, when his food comes down in the bowl, he's like, I have to gobble it up instantly. This is so gross. maybe you'll cut this, maybe you'll
we
not.
Share the vulnerabilities, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's hear it.
But so my cat, just going back to sweet little Baz, I have to be careful about his portion sizes, because when I was first kind of free feeding him, he would do this thing where he would, they call it scarf and barf. because
Oh, man.
a cat's stomach is the size of a ping pong ball. So if they eat more than that, then they can't keep it down. And so he would eat so much so quickly. It was almost the same phenomena going on with my cat. And I have to wonder, I'm like, are we connected in this way? Because he lives with me and he's seen, me in some of my, I would call weaker moments. And this is a vulnerability, obviously. I still have these moments where when I get really, really stressed out or I'm really, really upset, and that happened a lot, especially at the beginning of this year, because I was going through a major thing with my closest friend moving away to Japan.
That's so hard.
Yeah. And so I was falling into these old habits and just like eating and eating. I would spend too much money ordering like a box of 4 crumble cookies, and I would eat all of them. And you know how big those things are. They're honking. I can have the smallest triangle of one, but at the beginning of the year, it was like, bring it all in, because somehow, some way, I felt like this would make me feel better.
Yeah.
It never does. And I think that that's the hard part about compulsive behaviors like that, is that I feel like our mind is saying, this will help, this will help, this will help. And then you end up kind of worse than you started, because you're just like, and then you're sitting in the shame of it. And
Exactly, yeah. And it does stem from that, like, because it is a disorder. There is this chemical imbalance, this illness in the brain that, again, is so much more than just a choice. There is so much stigma when it comes to this topic, and I'm sure that you've experienced that. How have you seen people react and discuss this topic in your life?
So, growing up as somebody that is more on the plus size side of things, my experience in day to day, and I mean, obviously I don't know what it would have been on the other hand, but I'm seeing, what my sister's doing. And so that was my closest point of comparison of the different experiences. And, now that I'm older, I know that she was having her own struggles and stuff. But as a kid, I was like, God, her life is perfect. She's a cheerleader. She's going to be a pro lacrosse player. And I was, going to middle school and being made fun of. I remember I would sit alone at lunch a lot of the time. The boys were especially cruel. Like, I remember a kid coming over and sitting at my lunch table. And he was, of course, I'm sure I told one of the girls that I had a crush on him or something, because I was very naive as a kid. I didn't really realize what my social standing was a lot of the time. And so I think middle school was a rude awakening of like, oh my gosh, people think I'm a loser, which was really hard.
Yeah.
So you're very alone. And I remember this boy sat down. He's like, Kate, I heard you have a thing for me, and I the feelings are returned. And would you want to go out with me? And me being what, like 11 or 12 or something, I'm like, really? And he goes, no, and starts cackling and goes back to his table of friends. I remember in one of our classes, these girls got up and they said, between your legs, you should have 3 diamonds, like 3 gaps. And I know that like a thigh gap thing was like a big deal online a couple of years ago, that like, even if you like search thigh gap on Tumblr, it's like, hey, do you need help? Because like it's crazy. Like so many women specifically are convinced that they need to have this particular figure. And so they're all standing at the front of the classroom showing off their diamonds between their legs. And naturally I have none. And I'm just standing there like so embarrassed and so humiliated. And of course they're laughing at me. And that kind of behavior didn't stop in middle school, which is the crazy thing. It's as I got bigger and bigger and bigger and less confident, which I really think is what attracts that kind of meanness, is people see someone who's very small, like internally.
And easy to pick on, as they say. Yeah.
Easy target for whatever they're dealing with in their life, and they need that boost. They think that this is going to boost them up to make fun of me. Like going into a Q store, which is separated. They used to have these yellow signs. It was like normal sizes and plus sizes. And they'd split the store halfway down the middle. And I remember shopping there when I could still wear an XL, which was like a quote, quote, normal size.
Yeah.
And, this guy came in with his girlfriend, and I'm looking at clothes, minding my own business, alone shopping in the mall, which I am allowed to do. And this
I would
guy,
agree.
Right. This guy comes in and he's like, she's shopping on the wrong side of the store. Like in the loudest whisper.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my
And then so like the whole time I'm just like, come on. I remember going upstairs and finding my friends and just bursting into tears, because I was just like, I can't believe I'm like a college age kid And this is still happening to me. Sitting on airplanes where the seats are tiny and people are like, ugh. And I get it. Look, I understand everybody wants their personal space, and it was really hard because I still technically fit in everything, but I was bordering on not. And for folks that are dealing with that, or like having those struggles and are treated with such just animosity for existing, it just is heartbreaking to me, because if the goal of the people that are saying like, oh, you should lose weight and you should be healthy and you should be trim and you should fit this and whatnot, if that's the goal, then tearing people down and making them feel worse and worse and worse is like the opposite way. You're not helping. You're not helping at all. And it's like, I didn't want to go to a gym because I was afraid people would look at me and laugh. And so you start limiting yourself from things because you are so ashamed to just even have gotten to this point. And so it was really tough. And it's still tough.
Of course.
Yeah. Like I've lost a lot of weight right now, but I'm not kind of where like the quote normal is yet. I don't know if I'll ever be there. But what I have found now is that I am comfortable and confident and happy with myself and the way that my body exists and the things that it can do. And I think that has made the difference for me.
I love that. What a beautiful, just like full circle story right there and then in itself. I'd love to dive in deeper as to how you got from A to B. You just said that these days you feel so much more comfortable and confident. And I'd love to know where that shift happened, if it was gradual, if it was sudden, and the steps that you took or that just happened to you that got you on this path to feeling more in love with yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's kind of like that's been the secret sauce all along, is just like love yourself. Because I think when you love yourself, you just naturally want to take care of yourself more. But yeah, that was definitely not an overnight thing. I mean, this started when I was 10 and, has been going on throughout my life. Gosh, I'm trying to think if there was this epiphany moment besides the moment in the hallway where I'm holding myself up and like, oh my gosh, I can't, my knees are going to give out. But I think even leading up to that, there were things that I was doing that was helping me kind of ground myself in the who I am and appreciating where I was then. If it was in COVID, it wasn't at the Korean spa, although that is a wonderful place to build your confidence. If you ever are like, I just want to look at myself and like be around people, I know it's
That's right. Because in the Korean spa, they're like,
you're fully nude in and they're, divided sections. But the first time I ever went, I was at the beginning of my journey, and I remember I was nervous, obviously, because, you're disrobing in front of all of these people. And that's like my worst nightmare, because if I can't go to a gym in clothing, I mean, what are people in this spa going to be thinking about me? And what are they going to be saying? And then it was weird because it was like I realized as I turn and I look at myself, there's these full-length mirrors by the lockers where you change. So you are hit with it right away that you are, like, talk about vulnerable. There's nothing to hide behind anymore, because in the plus size experience, a lot of the times I felt like my clothes were my armor that I could hide behind, because it was like, I can put on this black dress and that'll slim me because black is slimming and people won't see that there are lumps and curves and all these things. And I just wanted to disappear. Yeah. And I was obviously too large to do that, and also a person, so I can't do that. But yeah, being in the Korean spa, it was like, oh, like I like the way that my waist like goes in, and I like the way that this looks, and like look at me standing on my own two legs, and I'm here and I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing something. I guess there's something about just like sitting in bath water and spas that you just feel good. And it could be that there's this sense of community, because I'm not sitting in the Korean spa looking at people's bodies and commenting on them and talking about them, and nobody else there is either. Everybody is there to take care of themselves. Everybody is there to refresh and recharge. And I think being in that environment and being surrounded by women that were all just there to find this peace within themselves kind of helped me find my peace a little bit. And I know it's like a strange place to find it. I keep telling my mom, I'm like, you should go. And she's like, I will never go. But it's true. It's like I took some friends back in July and they said like similar things.
Yeah.
It's a very healing place. So I guess like that was a good part of my journey, just like actually really looking at myself.
Yeah, and I love what you said about like you looked at yourself in the full length mirror and you realized just like, wow, look at me on my two legs and look at me and I'm here. Just like that appreciation for just what your body is able to do for you, just being here on this like earth.
Yeah.
I think is incredible.
Yeah, and I think that that's such a secret for anything is my parents call it the glad game. Is like you just start listing off things that you're glad for. And the minute I could start kind of honing in on that aspect and being glad about the things that, like finding the things about myself that I was really happy with, it helped me find everything to be, like suitable for me or like I don't know if I'm explaining this properly.
That's great. It goes back to being grounded in the moment, present, really like looking at yourself and feeling yourself in a way that is not reminiscent of the thoughts going on in your head, but just as you are, you know?
Yes. It was looking in a mirror and like actually seeing myself for the first time. Because
And not the physical.
Exactly. Seeing because who does this? I mean, it was a very big moment of bravery for me too, and to recognize that as well, that I'm trying this new thing that is very adventurous for me and finding out that I love it. And I think that in the health journey, it's been a lot of like, let's try this. I've had archery classes and I was swimming laps at the YMCA, which I'd never really done before. Like I'd always loved to swim in the ocean, but just trying to put myself in new environments and try new things and just try to get out into the world and kind of capture the joy of knowing oneself intimately.
Yeah, it sounds like the process that you went through was not through a process of trying to change yourself. It was a process of trying to love yourself, accept yourself.
Yeah.
And through that came the happiness and through that came the joy.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you are a joyful and happier person, and again, this is another thing that's hard for me because on top of the binge eating disorder, I also have major depressive disorder. So, sometimes I just want to be a lump in my bed all day. And the way that I've been able to combat that is doing those things, finding those joyful moments. And because I had that joy and that feeling kind of bubbling up in me, it just makes everything else kind of fall into place because I'm like, I'm feeling good. Like, let's go for that walk. Let's, cook something at home instead of ordering out or going to fast food. Let's learn a new recipe. Let's
call up a friend.
Exactly. Call up a friend. And oh my gosh, do I love calling up my friends or like podcasting on my voice memos. It's the best. And it's so great because I just feel in these days I'm more and more connected to people. And when I have that community and that joy and that feeling, it just makes me want to work harder and harder and harder to treat myself the way that like I'd want to treat you or treat Brielle and treat all of my friends. And I think, again, that all goes into the loving yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself as you would love your best friends because you made it. You're here, you're on this planet and there's so much to discover and there's so much to be excited about. And taking away all of this, I guess the ego a little bit and like the like, what do I look like and what are people saying and all that. Nobody's really thinking about you in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe because I was so in on this. Sorry, I'm having an epiphany right now.
Love it.
It's I think at a certain point in our lives, and I don't know at what point everybody kind of goes through this, and you might come in and out of it. People deal with like that main character syndrome a little bit where you're so bogged down in your own problems and your own wants and your own issues that it becomes, you start to kind of like suck the energy out of the room a little bit because you're like, oh, I'm just thinking about all this and what are they whispering about and are they talking about me, and that paranoia starts to build and build and build. And the minute you stop, I guess, like being so focused on you and yourself and how other people perceive you is the minute you can actually really start to connect and start to understand the world around you and then through that understand yourself, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. There is, because we're all nerds here on The Vulnerable, there's a movie, an anime movie that came to my mind when you mentioned that. Have you seen A Silent Voice?
No, but I've been meaning to watch it.
The character walks through this world where everyone has X's over their faces.
Oh, wow.
They're either untrustworthy or who knows what they're saying. And from the main character's point of view, you can hear them whispering about him. And he has his hands over his ears because he wants to drown it out. After he goes through his whole journey, at the end of the movie, he's walking through the same hallway with the same people. He takes his hands off his head, the X's fall off, and he realizes that they're all just talking about everyday life. They're talking about what movie they're going to watch. They're talking about their dogs or what they want to do this weekend. It's our brains can fool us so convincingly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to body image. Like, again, that chemical imbalance literally changes the way we see ourselves. Because I used to feel the same way.
Yeah.
I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, I am so just not who I want to be. But those are moments that, looking back on later, I just realized that it's not true. It was my brain, my poor, beautiful brain that needed to be loved, lying to me, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing all of that. I know it can't be easy to be so vulnerable, and I feel the same way right now, sharing that too. But we can take so much weight off of us knowing that, like, hey, those whispers that we hear, they're not real.
Exactly. And you talk about the brain that needs to be loved, and it just reminds me of that book, the What You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. Actually comes recommended from a prolific, wonderful voice actress, Jennifer Hale. And when I was listening to that book, it talks about how we program our brains. And I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's between our birth and up to 18 years old, we hear the words no and what we can't do and all of these things like an astronomical amount more than we hear yes. And a lot of that no comes from like, no, don't touch the stove, it's too hot, you know, from your parents trying to protect you, or no, don't do this, or no, I don't think so, or no, you're not ready. And our brains take that in, and they are really, really good at hard programming on the no. So for a long time, when it comes to weight loss, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I can't do this. I don't have the ability. I don't have the self-control. I don't have the drive to get through this. And my brain was like, you're right. and just like, and that's how I ended up on that slippery slope down. But Shad puts it in this way of, you don't say like, no, don't eat that cake. Or like, you know, it's like, yes, I'll have a bite of that cake and try it and enjoy it. Or I'm a person that puts healthy, good things in my body. So he uses it with the smokers. It's like saying like, I'm a person that does healthy things and puts good things in my body, even as you're lighting up. Like if you say that, then at a certain point in time, your brain will like, get the cognitive dissonance of you're lighting up, but you're saying this in your head, and your brain's like, then why are you smoking that cigarette? And it's helped people quit smoking. And that's, I think, rewiring my brain. Because this book I listened to back in 2021. So kind of in the start of my voice career. It was 2021 or 2022. Anyway, it's a couple of years ago when I started to try to implement some of those ideas of saying the yes, I'm capable, and yes, I can do this, and yes, I'm strong enough. The results, you know, speak for themselves. And I think that's been really cool, not only with the health, but also with my career.
Exactly. We talk all the time on this podcast how important it is to use like self-compassion as a motivator.
Yeah.
And I like that, even if we replace self-compassion with yes and shame with no. It is so much easier to motivate yourself because you want to care for yourself, because you're excited for something, than to motivate yourself because you don't like where you are or you don't like who you are. It's just not sustainable that way.
Yeah.
But it feels so good in the moment just to give yourself that little bit of praise, or to use that kind of positive reinforcement in a way to help yourself get out of a slump, you know?
Exactly. And I think like one of the biggest physical things that I did during the pandemic, I had a patch of dirt in my backyard. And I remember, this is when I was realizing, okay, I got to do something about my health. I got to start this journey. And so this is like not during 2020, but I think 2021 or 2022. I'm going to say 2022. That seems like the starting point of a lot of good things.
Let's do it.
I'd started with therapy, and my therapist had said in the morning, because I was having a really hard time getting out of bed, and this is where the major depression was coming in. It was just like I could spend a whole day just laying in my bed, not doing anything, not eating, not drinking, just laying there. And she said, what you need to do is first thing when you wake up is get out of bed, go outside, and do a body scan. And I'm like, what is that? And she says, focus in on the things around you, feel the wind in your hair and on your face, listen to the bird song, feel the heat of the sunlight coming down on you, the hard pavement beneath your feet, or grass if you have a lawn to go to. And doing those things and getting outside and going into that patch of dirt in my backyard, I had this feeling of like, I should build a patio.
Nice.
And I don't know if you've ever done anything like that. But,
No.
I dug this giant, and I mean giant, bigger than this room, hole in my backyard, a couple feet deep. And then you have to lay down a little tarp thing to keep weeds from shooting through. Then you have to lay down gravel. Then you have to lay down paver sand. Then you have to lay down paver blocks. And then you have to lay down more paver sand and then sweep it all into the cracks. It's a whole process.
What?
It's extremely physical.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
hauling bricks. I was doing all sorts of things because I was so determined to make this space for myself where I could sit and grow flowers. And it's great because right now it's a little dead because it's been so hot in the summer, but the things that have persisted since I started this place is I have this massive lavender plant that when I started, it was like this tiny, I don't know, grapefruit sized plant. And now it is the size of a very large, Bernie's Mountain Dog, I guess is the.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so it's grown tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
I've got strawberries and I've got rosemary back there, and I'm like, that is so cool. I made that happen, and I'm capable of that. And I'd never done that before, and because I said that I could, I did. And I think that was cool. Did it happen immediately and overnight? No, it took me a couple of months to really dig it out. But when I was out there and I was digging and I was doing the physical activity and just seeing what I was capable of on my own, it was another moment where I was like, look at me, I'm strong.
Yeah.
I'm strong and I can do these things, and I'm building a patio. Who does that? and again, back to the Korean spa, who's doing that? At least for me, it was this really cool moment of just recognizing that when you tell yourself and pump yourself up, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you really can, and you probably will, because your brain is going to make that the self-fulfilling prophecy of you've programmed me to say yes and do these things, so now I will complete the task. And I think that the good thing to note when you're embarking on any journey like this, or anything that you're trying to build up as a skill or as a lifestyle or as a habit, not every day is going to be perfect. You're not going to be on 100% of the time. You might slip and you might fall and you might stumble. My dad has this saying that he would say to me all through school, because with the depression, I had a really hard time, especially in college, getting to class and stuff for those 8 a.m. classes. My dad would always say, just run through the tape, Kate, run through the tape. And what I like about that is you could be dead last, but you're going to finish that race.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that as a motivator and as a mantra of sorts, to just come on, you can do it. Run through it, run through it, run through it. And then again, you're telling your brain, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And it's like the little engine that could. It's I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And so you do.
That is so amazing. And there's so many things to take away from that. And I love that we just keep going back to the same themes of the body scan, being present, being grounded, actually going and digging yourself a patio, coming out of your daydreams and turning that into reality. So thank you so much for sharing this. And we talked previously about how this is a vulnerable subject for you, but for that, just major congratulations. And just I'm honored to have this conversation with you to help other people.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful to have a space to, I guess, share this. This is not a part of myself that I've really shared before. I put pictures on my like private story forever ago, just like showing the comparison of like, wow, like this is the same dress like a couple years later,
Mm-hmm.
and very excited about that. But it's been a really hard thing for me to, I guess, acknowledge publicly,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because my whole life it's like, you know, when you take the selfie or whatever, you can really disguise and hide a lot of who you are. And for years it was like that's how I would. If there's a picture of me going online, it's one I took myself. It's one that I probably edited. It's one that, you know, I've like curated to the point where it's like nobody can know that I deal with this struggle, because again was all that shame wrapped into it. And as I'm growing and learning and being more and more of a friend to myself, the more I feel like I want to share these things, but it's hard to talk about these things, and it's sometimes like, honestly, I was a little like nervous to come in today and talk about it, because it's just like, yeah, I struggle with this and now everybody knows, you know.
But there are so many
yeah.
other people that struggle with this too, who also feel the need to hide, to not talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, I'm just like so grateful for you, because this is showing everyone that this is not a taboo subject. We
Yeah.
can talk, and more importantly than talking about it, we can ask for help with it. You know, we can reach out, we can seek support.
Exactly. And I think that like that's the beautiful thing too about talking about it, is like in talking about it, you know, I'm having epiphanies as I'm actually like actively putting words to my feelings and my journey. And sorry, it's on my brain. So like the first time I really, really dove into this topic, and especially even named binge eating to a friend, was when I was talking with Brielle when I first met her.
Who is our engineer,
who's
literally in the room
amazing.
behind the glass over there.
I love you. But so she and I actually share this struggle and have dealt with this similar thing with getting right with our physical health, and having somebody just understand and have been through it too, because I never had a friend that had been through this. It felt so great to be seen, and it has really given me more of the confidence to keep going and to come to this and to share it with you, and to share it with you. And so I think that's been a really cool thing for me.
Yeah. What would you have to say to your younger self if you could go back in time?
Gosh, if I could go back and talk to 10-year-old Kate, I would just say you are so beautiful and such a wonderful little soul, and you just need to like find a way to internalize that, because I think in the quest to be beautiful, which in my younger mind I thought meant like being, you know, extremely fit and skinny and all those things. Like I did a lot of things that were really harmful to myself. Like not like the binge eating disorder is one thing. That's something that you kind of develop, and it is a compulsion. But there were things that I actively chose to do because I thought, this will help. This will work. This will be the thing, that the magic thing that'll make it all go away. And I cannot tell you, I tried diet after diet after diet after diet. And I did things like, I remember my freshman year of college, there was this horrendous fad diet that was going around where it's lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. And like before you drink that potion, which you drink it just throughout the day, and that's all you put in your body.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah, it's bad. But before you do that, they say drink a big glass of salt water. And I don't know if you know what that does to your systems, but it
dehydrates you, right?
Really, really bad. I've never been sicker than when I was trying to do that. And I think I lasted like 4 days. But 4 days of just drinking lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup, I was just like, you know, like a husk.
Who invented that? I want to have a conversation.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like there's so much pressure in society to look a certain way and to be a certain thing. So like, you know, there's people that were thinner than me that were doing this thing because they thought that they needed to get rid of their little pooch in their belly or whatever. And I think with the beauty and fashion industries, there's such a push to like be that one idea of beauty. I do think it's shifting and it's changing, which is good. I think the conversation is shifting more to health instead of like you have to look this certain way. It's like,
image.
no, just be healthy.
Healthy and happy.
Healthy and happy. So yeah, I would tell younger Kate, don't feel like you have to do these things or like find some magic shortcut. Like you just need to, just love yourself. You're wonderful the way you are. You are acceptable and beautiful the way that you are. And I think if I had just had that love for myself when I was younger, I probably would have avoided a lot of the heartaches in my life. But, through those heartaches, you also learn and grow. And
That's true.
So
yeah,
in a way, I'm also grateful for it. So
that's right. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. With every struggle comes a lesson.
Yeah.
And there is beauty in that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the caterpillar that has to melt entirely before, emerging as this butterfly. And I think I had to melt down my like inner voice, I guess, and rewrite that code to go back to the programming thing. I'm mixing my metaphors, but
I love it. There's so much goodness here. And then we talked about what would you say to yourself? What would you say to the other people either in your life or just out there who don't struggle with this issue directly, but want to be more mindful or educated?
I would think first and foremost, just be kind. I think a lot of the things that were harmful to me and stalled me out or knocked me off the horse on this journey were when people were just mean to me or would give me those looks and that. So like first and foremost, be kind, and it doesn't matter, just be kind to everybody, because you just never know what somebody's going through in their life. You might be sitting in traffic and somebody merges into your lane and they didn't use your blinker, but it's safe and it's fine and it's not a big deal. You have a choice there. You can honk on the horn and be like, you're a jerk, even if it's like they're super far away. Maybe traffic's not the best thing because defensive driving is like important. But my point is that, they could be rushing trying to get to the hospital because somebody in their car is hurt, or they could be crying their eyes out because they just got a horrible phone call. They could be, there's all manner of things. If somebody has a attitude with you in public, like just try to, they say kill it with kindness, and it's true. Like if you respond to that negativity and you try to open your heart up and be kind, and I'm not saying like let's never ever like be mean or what, because like that's not feasible. People are gonna have their off days, and you might have an off day, and you'll be so grateful that somebody was kind to you. Those little acts can change somebody's whole trajectory. And when people were kind to me and encouraging to me, those are the things that I was able to like apply to myself and lock in on and help me like kind of climb the mountain. But
that's right, and gain your confidence too.
Yeah.
The amount of passion that you have is incredible, and it inspires me.
You say you're inspired by me. I mean, like, look at where we are recording your podcast that you decided to create, and you were like, I'm going to do this, and you did it. You know what I mean? Like, and I just think that gumption and that, again, I feel like you and I are very kindred spirits in that nature. I just think it's the coolest thing. And I think I said to you yesterday, like, thank you for the spark. But it's true, like, thank you so much for this and for this weekend, because I almost feel like reinvigorated. Like, there were certain things that I felt, especially in the past couple of like, I was in Shrek in Glendale for a long time, and I was going and I was dancing every weekend, and so you're getting a lot of that endorphins. And then after the show ended, I was like, because I was so tired. So this kind of feels like the re-up, the energy drink that I kind of needed to like soldier on ahead and hit the ground running. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And if I can just respond to that.
Yeah, please.
Like, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, you sent me the sweetest message yesterday, and it ended with, thank you for the spark. And I returned your message and I said, thank you for the spark. Again, at the beginning of this week, I just felt the need to get out of my daydreamer head and to make things happen in my life and to go on that journey yesterday of adventuring out into the city. It took a little while to get there, but it's like that was part of the fun and the joy for me. And it makes me feel like maybe I'm not so much of a daydreamer. So
it's funny because like you say that at the start, and I think that like maybe it's the things that you've connected in your recent epiphany that you're like you are the daydreamer, but that's not always a negative thing because you come up with these ideas and now you're just finding, okay, like how do I put that into action? And as you like continue on that journey of like putting more of the dreams into action, like that inspires me to put my dreams into action, which is cool. This is so silly. Did you ever watch the movie Spirited? It's Will Ferrell and Ryan
Reynolds.
What is his name? Thank you. I was like, why do I not know his name?
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't.
It's extremely cute, but there's a song that they cut. And I couldn't believe it because I love this song. It's in the credits and they show you like the whole film sequence that they did for it. The song is called Ripple. And like the whole point of Spirited is Will Ferrell is playing a Christmas Present and Ryan Reynolds is like their person that they're going to go Scrooge for that year. Because he's like a big money monger, like business guy. And he's doing terrible things. And so the other spirits are like, you're never going to change this guy's mind. And he's like, but if we did, we'd create this ripple that would, because he has so many people that are following him, like this ripple could go all across the world. Because if we can like get that kindness going, then it's just going to flow and flow and flow into more kindness. And it's the same way with like inspiration, creativity, all of this like positive energy that's flowing between us. It's this positive feedback loop that just grows and grows and grows and grows. Little segue, like with the voice acting thing that my Genshin NPC Lapine Pauline, people really, really like her. And one of the things that I've seen from people saying online is like, I like that this voice actress is so into her character of Lapine Pauline, which I do love Lapine Pauline. I'm like, I gotta full name her. But what a name. What a gal.
Lapine Pauline.
Lapine Pauline. But one of the things that I saw in a comment on something was like, I love that this voice actress loves her character so much. And somebody comments like, well, it's a positive feedback loop. It's like she put the passion into the character. We all really loved it and gassed the character up. And so she loved the character even more and started to do all these things. And that's exactly what happened. It's like I put this out. You said, wow, I love it. And then I said, thanks. I love it too. And let's keep loving it together. And like, I feel like that's what this is.
It's definitely been a weekend of love. And
weekend of love.
I love that though. I love the positive feedback loop and I hope it's something that I can keep doing in my life and you do in your life, and beautiful listeners, you can do in your life too. The power of, you talked about it earlier, the power of like positive thoughts and gratefulness and supporting each other, lifting each other up. It lifts us up. It is so easy to get bogged down with like where we wish we could be. Me with the daydreaming, or what we wish we could look like. You with your journey, like and this goes back to self-compassion too. Like it's the joy that's going to heal us. It is the positivity is our friends. It is that support. And, it feels so good to be alive, and doesn't it?
It does.
Gosh.
It does. I'm just so happy that I'm sitting here with you and we're having this conversation and just connecting as people sitting and I just this is what life is about, you know?
Can I like hug you right now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is literally like the coolest. Sorry, I just like I can't help it. Like I just feel so like fired up right now.
No, me too. And I think that that's the point. It's like when I say be kind to others, it's like you never know what that little act of kindness, you could go at Starbucks, for example, in the line and say, hey, the next latte that gets ordered, like, I'm going to pay for it. You pay it forward. And like, I've gotten a free drink before at Starbucks because I was sitting behind, I was singing my lungs out in the car, and the person in front of me paid for my drink. And the barista was like, yeah, they said they loved your singing. And like, that just made my whole life. I still remember getting coffee that day, which like, who remembers the day like got coffee? But like, it did. It just made me feel good. And it made me feel like, wow, what a nice person. And then so because I got a free coffee, I said, can I pay for the people behind me? And it just starts that train of the like pay it forward. And you know, I'm not saying like go beyond your means and pay for every of these things, but like I think even just like smiling at somebody and saying, you know, like, how are you today? Or like or just
I like what you're wearing. It's good to see you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my favorite thing is when somebody's like, oh my gosh, like this bag. I've been carrying this little crab
Can you guys
purse.
see how cute this little bag is? Oh, our audio listeners cannot, but I'll describe it to you. It is a adorable little crab backpack thingy, whatever it is. That is so cute that Kate brought.
But so this crab purse has like, it's very cute. And so oftentimes when I carry it around, people will be like, oh my gosh, I love your bag. And that opens me up for an opportunity to like point out like, oh my gosh, I love your earrings that you're wearing. And I'm not saying like go and be disingenuous, but it's like, if you have something nice to say, then say it. Say it.
And what's the worst that can happen? Like, it's
Exactly.
crazy how much fear, because I used to have a lot of fear about that. Like, oh, wow, I really like that girl's hair. Should I tell her? No, I can't tell her. It's like, what? Why not?
Right.
What are you afraid of? Judgment?
Exactly.
No. They're going to feel so good, and then you're going to feel so good.
And that's the thing too. It's like going back to that like main character syndrome thing. It's like I feel like sometimes we forget that like other people aren't scary, you know, like they're not going to be, who would bite your head off for being like, "Oh my gosh, I love your hat. Like I love the charms on your necklace." Like that is so cool.
Thank you. Shout out to my friend Riley who made this, cuz she said the charms reminded her of me. Anyways, continue.
That's beautiful. I love Riley.
I love Riley too. Shout out
Riley's
to
the
Riley.
best. But I totally lost my train of thought.
It's
but
the idea of just sharing a compliment with someone, because like imagine how you would feel. Would you judge someone who said they liked your outfit or
no,
thought you looked
not at all.
good
I'd be like,
or liked your smile? Like,
I mean, I guess if I was trying to be a certain type of way and they were like, your outfit looks great. And I was like, I wanted it to look terrible, but nobody thinks that way. And nobody's acting that way.
Yeah.
So it's just like positive, spread it around. It's that easy. It's
that easy, and it's also life-changing.
It is.
So why not?
Oh my gosh. It's the you've talked in previous episodes about the conscious choice, I think, of choosing to, what was it in Ariana's, like sit in the discomfort. I have this choice in my mind in the morning of like, am I going to be kind today or am I going to be like sour grapes about whatever? And it's like, I always hands down pick the like, let's try to be kind. Like, let's do our best to be this person that is bright and brings positivity, because when I give positivity, then I get positivity, and then I feel better, and then they feel better, and it's, again, positive feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking in a loop.
We sure are. Talk about a positive feedback loop. We are stuck because I think we just feel so great right now.
I know. I'm like, woo.
I remember we mentioned yesterday, to segue into voiceover a little bit, like that was something that helped you as well. Like we talked about acts of kindness, but acts of creativity can also feed into that healthier mindset. Would you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like if there's any thing that I could point to that I loved about myself when I was younger, it was this imagination and this urge to create that I've always had. And that has served me well throughout my whole life. What was really debilitating was in college, I went to school for opera singing, and I kind of had this like loss of love for singing because it was tough and I was depressed and I was suddenly, you know, like if you're like one of the top singers in your high school and then you go to a school where everybody's there to be a singer, you're probably not on the top anymore. And I think that was kind of a rude awakening for me to be like, oh my gosh, like I've got a lot to learn here, which is a good thing to know that you need to learn. But there were hard times with professors and stuff that just shattered my confidence in that. So I lost that art and that creative drive. So when I discovered voice acting, and as somebody that was trying so hard to hide myself, it kind of felt like this liberation a little bit, because I didn't have to be seen at that time, and I wasn't ready to be seen at that time. I wasn't really seeing myself, but what I could do is like I could fuel my characters with all of this emotion and this creative energy that I had. And it helps me just to, I don't know, reconnect with my art form, acting and singing, because I didn't do any of that after I graduated college. I went into teaching Lego engineering classes and then teaching fourth grade.
So cool.
Really tough though. Like it's like one of the toughest jobs I've ever had. And I was paid pennies. You know, we talk about things, the struggles that teach us. And that definitely taught me that I do have a drive and I do have some like willpower here.
That's right.
I wasn't doing as much of the creative as I wanted to. And so I still felt that stifling thing. So to like in 2021, when I had my first in-studio voice acting session, and I went in for Luna Lynn, and she's this character that's dealt with a lot of pain. This is a character from the mobile game Memento Mori. I could channel my own pain into her. And then I could also like feel the joy of creation, you know, like that is what a gift to be able to embody this person and to tell this story and to just like have this opportunity. I left that session and just immediately burst into tears and called my mom because I was like, I have a purpose.
Aw.
I have something that like this has made me happier than like anything else. And I think because voice acting, I'm not limited. I can play this like cute little like princess character. I can play the goblin. I can play the little boy. You know, like I can play the witch. I can play the princess. I can do it all, and I'm not limited by this appearance that I wasn't quite yet, you know, enamored with. And so now, like, building up my confidence through voiceover and knowing that like this art that is a part of me that breathes through me, it's built me up in so many ways that I'm, you know, I did my first on-camera audition a couple weeks ago and I couldn't believe it. I was looking at this footage of myself and I was like, I can watch this and like the person that I see there and I'm proud of her. And whew, I'm like, I don't cry, but it's been a long journey. So, whew, sorry.
That's okay. I can see like how much this has been such an important journey for you, and that must have been just such a full circle moment, and the relief, the joy, whatever came with it.
Yeah, the relief, joy, freedom, like, and just not feeling trapped in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like, whew.
It's okay. It proves that you care, and I'm so glad you do. I can see it. I can feel it. You do put so much of yourself into, like, you are such a creative person,
Thank you.
and you put so much of yourself into voiceover and into the other things that you do, right? Like you write. Tell us about your writing.
Yeah, so one of the things that really kept me going when I was a kid and I was dealing with all these struggles and the bullying and the weight stuff is I wasn't voice acting. I mean, I was singing in theater on the weekends, but the consistent thing that I've been doing, and I've been doing this since I was 12, I've been writing, and I used to be embarrassed by it because I first started writing by logging on to neopets.com and I was on the role play boards and I was really into The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess at the time.
Where are my Zelda fans out?
Shout out Midna, my queen.
Let's go. Yep.
But I met a girl on that site, and it's funny, we used to joke that we were like 40-year-olds in a basement, but she's actually a girl who lives here in California, funnily enough. We were writing basically essentially Zelda fan fiction from the time I was 13. But the thing I would look forward to at the end of a tough day at school is like I could come home and I could dive into this world and I could kind of channel my emotions through the characters that I was writing. Because, you know, we start with Link and Midna, but then it's like, what about their kids and then their parents? And it's like, so then you're creating your own characters. And what I love about character creation in general is it's like, they're all little slices of yourself that you're kind of like, ooh, this part of my personality, like, let's highlight this. Like I had a character at the time, her name was Larka, and she was like very insecure, very kind of like musically talented. Like, so it's like, it was kind of like my self-insert, but there were things about her that were different, but her battle was a lot of with confidence. And so when I entered into high school, which was one of the best schooling eras of my life, and I had friends that were interested in my writing and wanted to talk to me about it, it was like I was processing all over again as I'm like explaining Larka's story. I was seeing myself in it and seeing like, oh, that's why I connect to this character so well, and that's what these emotions were. Because for some reason it's kind of almost easier for me to take a little step away from me and put it through the eyes of somebody else and then like connect with it. This is very strange maybe, but I sometimes will be writing and I'll be so invested in the story that I'm making that I will get emotionally like tearing up as I'm writing this story. But it was good and it's cathartic and it's healthy, and at the end of the day, now I've done something productive with those feelings, and I've created a little work of art, which is really cool.
That is so cool. And real quick to touch on it, like we talked a lot today about being grounded and being in the moment. There is a certain level of like escapism and the daydreaming, but there is a difference between the daydreaming and what you're describing. That is like a beautiful way to process and to learn about yourself and to be creative. So I love that you have that. And I want to know so much more about your world and your characters someday.
I'll
so
be happy
cool.
to regale you. It's a lot. So
I am ready. I think at the end of the day of all of this, we really touched on a lot of awesome things, being in the moment, being present, but also allowing ourselves to be creative, positive, and to be fueled and driven by love and gratitude and positivity. So
I love that.
thank you so much for being here. It has been such a pleasure. I am so glad.
Likewise.
Yesterday we talked for so long. I was like, I hope we have some goodies left for the pod.
I feel like we
Boy,
could
did
go
we.
for 4 more hours.
Yeah, we could keep rolling. In fact, we are going over our time right now. So because of that, and because we want Brielle to get home and get some rest, we're going to go ahead and ask her our very last question, Kate. It is the most vulnerable question.
Okay.
And so, my beautiful viewers, my beautiful listeners, please pause this video or recording and ask. I hit the microphone. And ask yourself this question, please, 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 please do it. Kate, what is your favorite thing about yourself?
Oh gosh, my inner light. I think that is something that I've covered up and kind of like hidden away for many years, and I'm trying to just let that shine out of me now. Like the vulnerabilities and the things that I'm sharing here, and the things I would never talk about my writing before, and like I would always be like, ooh, you know, I said Lapine Pauline is cringe, but she's free.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might think that my things are nerdy, but I don't care. Like I'm just gonna share because it's that joyfulness that comes out of me and is bursting and ready to go, and I think that I love that. And my hair.
Your hair is so beautiful. But yes, your inner light is even more so. And thank you for sharing that with us today. Like,
Thank you.
oh, this has just been so awesome the last few days, just really getting to know you and connect
Yeah.
on such a deep level that just means so much to me. I love you.
So much to me too. Like I feel like I'm coming out of this weekend with a new, really good friendship, and I think that is one of the most beautiful things.
It totally is. Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you have any very last things to add?
Just again, practice kindness. Like in the Cinderella 2015 movie, her mantra is have courage and be kind.
Hi there, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of The Vulnerable.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please check out the description for a list of trusted resources
That me and my mom, who is a licensed psychologist, came up with.
You can like and subscribe, that's all great, but I would love if you could comment and share your story with us, and share this video with a friend who you think might need it.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Great. There's take one.